it's much harder to cut in a valley, if you will,
Right.
than it is with composition.
The metal roof thing seems like is the right thing for all the right reasons because it lasts so long.
I think it depends a little bit on your house. Anything you put metal on, we can put metal on anything. But I think the bigger the roof, the more cut up it is, how many slopes they have and everything like that, all just adds to the expense of the roof.
Dan's journey is one of hard work, resilience, and passion for quality craftsmanship. From his early days as a local roofer to becoming an industry leader, Dan shares the secrets to top-notch roofing and his commitment to the community.
I have always, since the day I started, not been afraid to hire people smarter than me. And it is key to growing your business. If you really think you're the smartest guy in your business, you're probably not going to grow as much as you think. Go after the best people that are smarter than you, they know what they're doing, and hire them.
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome again to the Mill Creek Live Today podcast. I'm your host, Greg Elwin, the Mill Creek guy. And once again, we're coming to you from our location at Tapped Mill Creek out at the farm. Thank you very much to Tapped. They host us here. We do some on-location things, but this is our home. Come out, check them out. They got a great menu, great food, great beer selection. Tapped is always a good place to be. Once again, our episodes are brought to you by Greg Elwin Real Estate. That's my company. And my focus is kind of hyper-local on helping folks in Mill Creek that, you know, it's for whatever reason, it's time to sell your house. We're sad to see you go. But if that's the case, then I want to be there to help you get the most you can for your house in the shortest amount of time and just relieve as much stress as possible on you. That's my job. I can't tell you how delighted I am to have legitimate Mill Creek nobility. And Dan McNeely, welcome and thank you. Dan is a supremely humble human being, and so I might even make him blush a little bit, but legit nobility. When we talk about the folks that are movers and shakers in this community that have been involved with building business and giving back and supporting people who need the support, your name is at the top of that, right? You're like the guy at the top of Mount Rushmore. I know that's horizontal, but you're the guy at the top, right? And so I couldn't be more proud to call you a friend, and I couldn't be happier to have you join us. So thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about how did you get here, right? So now it's you and me sitting here at Tapped Mill Creek, which didn't even exist when you moved to town. This was the buffalo farm that we talked about earlier.
That's right.
So how long you lived in town? How long you been in this part of this community?
Well, okay, so actually living here about 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we've always lived in North Bothell, and wanted to move our business into Mill Creek. So we did that first, and then eventually bought a home in Mill Creek. You know, about 7, 8 years ago.
I remember that house.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
We got a funny story about that.
Yes, we do. I'll leave that one for you to tell.
Yeah, perfect. But prior to that, you moved North Creek Roofing, your business, into Mill Creek. Yep. And you've been in that location how long?
Probably about 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And so then you moved to town, but at some point you became really actively involved in the community.
Well, I think even before we moved our business here, we were part of the festival. And so we just came every year. We'd come to the festival. We were at the front end of when the concert series started. And so we've always really enjoyed, I'll say we've loved being in Mill Creek.
Yeah.
And so when we had the opportunity to kind of downsize our home and move into Mill Creek, we just took it.
Yeah.
And have really not regretted it one bit. We love the community. We love being a part of the community and giving back to the community. And so that's what we've been doing.
So from that community interaction standpoint, I want to highlight some of the things. And you mentioned the Mill Creek Festival. Yep. Right. And the Mill Creek Festival, I think we just had our 23rd festival. We missed a year, right? So it's the 23rd festival. And you've been involved in most of those, or at least a good chunk of them.
We may have missed the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we've been in every other one since then.
And when we say in the festival, what folks need to understand is basically the anchor tenant of the festival, right? Your financial support of the festival in form of sponsorship is just incredible. Your dedication of your personnel and your staff to come out and staff a booth and be really an anchor right in the middle of it all. That's been going on for a couple decades.
Yeah, I mean, we worked into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first year we were in the festival, it was just in the road between the Boston Everett Highway and they're right there in front of Bank of America.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
So then I think we were there for a year or two. And then as the festival grew, we kind of grew and were able to then begin doing the sponsorships and so forth.
And then the beginning and the continuation now of the Town Center Concert Series.
Mm-hmm.
You've been at North Creek Roofing and Dan and Sue.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about Dan and Sue, the founders, as opposed to Dan and Sue, the owners, because that's been a change this year. But Dan and Sue are right on the front end of that as gold sponsors.
Sure.
And for those of you that have not been, we do 12 Wednesday night live music concerts in the Forum on Main Street during the summertime. And you've been a sponsor of that to make that happen. That's a free event. We get incredibly talented bands to come in, and nobody has to pay a dime to do that because of generous corporations and businesses and individuals like yourself that can help make that happen. And I see you at most of those.
We try to get to all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do I see you at most? You could have just said, hey, here's some sponsorship money. Have a great day.
That's probably the easy thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
putting money into something.
Yeah.
But two things really. Love the community. My wife and I, Sue, love the community. I love music. And so that's a good combination.
Yep.
And so we get out there and I mean, we've had maybe the most diverse lineup of bands this year that we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I've really enjoyed it. But we just enjoy the music. We enjoy people. And so we like to get out there. We'll be there tonight.
Yes,
Come on
indeed.
down.
Yeah. The people interaction part of it and the relationships and friendships that come from that event.
Yeah.
The people that I've met over the years there that are now friends, that are now people that aren't just, I see them on Wednesdays in the summertime, but it's friends and family that has grown from there. And I have had some of my friends from outside of Mill Creek proper, show up at, at my invitation. When you host, you extend that invitation. Like, hey, Dan, is it okay if my buddies come? And you're like, of course. And now they feel like they're part of your family as well because you've just welcomed them in.
Mm-hmm.
And at its core, that's what community is all about.
Sure is.
That's what it's all about. We really have that in this town.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that?
This is one of the best communities. I mean, we have, it is a family, very much, when we're at the concert series, it's very much a family atmosphere. I probably spend more time talking to people than listening to the music, if I had to be brutally honest.
Yep.
But I thoroughly enjoy that. I enjoy meeting people, and we enjoy listening to the music. And so, but we have such a great community here in Mill Creek that it's really not hard to do.
Right.
It just kind of comes naturally.
Right. It is smooth. It's just a smooth gathering of people.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we have something, it just brings people together. Like, oh, let's do this. This is our family. These are our friends. These are our family. And that's it is a testament to somebody like yourself, however, because we need leaders in the community to take that on, set that example, and be be those folks that bring people together. And I know with you, it's effortless, right? This is just you. This is just you. You know, you're not trying to bring people together. You're just, it's magnetism. You're just bringing people together. And we're fortunate to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So another thing that you have been involved with, and this has been going on, I think we just had our 6th golf tournament?
Seventh.
Just had our 7th golf tournament, the Mill Creek Classic Golf Tournament at the Mill Creek Country Club. We just had edition 7.
Yep.
And tell me, how did that thing get started?
Well, that started about 8 years ago, a little more than 8 years ago. And in a conversation with some people about a boy that needed $200 to play soccer. And his family didn't have it. So from that conversation, myself and now Chief Stan White began a conversation and included Kevin Gibney, then the chamber, well, it was the Business Association at the time,
Right.
President. And we got together and we didn't really form anything, but we created this golf tournament with the concept in mind of helping to support kids that may just need a couple $100 or a pair of cleats, a helmet, shoulder pads, something, a pair of shoes, just something so they could play.
Yeah.
And we just thought it was wrong that kids couldn't play sports over a few $100.
Yeah.
And so we created this, and now we are now in our 7th year. We just finished our last one here just a couple of weeks ago. Raised a little more than $34,000 that we'll now begin giving out to people.
That's incredible.
And so that is, I mean, that's maybe even more of a good thing that we do than anything else, because that helps kids. And that's what and now we've actually expanded that into some academics, so kids can do academic things and so forth. But the reality is it helps kids.
Yeah.
So.
And it's direct, right?
Direct.
There's some things that you can support that, will filter to kids that need it, but this is direct.
Right.
Like you said, started with a conversation about a child, a student athlete who needed some support. What can we do to help that, and buy a pair of cleats so that child can, that student athlete can play. And we continue to do that, right? So as we look at, and I'm on the committee with you, so we look at these different programs that we want to support, and that's why we put that focus on. Yeah, we can help programs, but we're only going to help programs if it directly assists a specific individual or group of individuals.
That's right. We most of the money goes to a program, but it's designed for a specific, maybe just certain kids that may need it, like you said.
And, something we started was the cap and gown program. Started supporting as a cap and gown program for graduating seniors who through no fault of their own and through whatever circumstance in life brought them to this point, as they're getting ready to graduate from high school. Despite
one opportunity
challenges,
at it. One opportunity at it.
Yeah. Despite whatever challenges, but they can't, they don't have cap and gown.
Yeah.
That's tragic.
One of the best programs we supported.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. Just incredible. It also the golf tournament proceeds also help support the scholarship program that is administered through the chamber. And so that's a little bit of a different program, because the kids who receive scholarships are some of the brightest and best in their classes, and they're headed off to esteemed universities and higher education, and we want to be able to help support them.
Of course we do.
But the bulk of what we're doing with this is kids that aren't going off to university of this or that. There's kids that are stellar individuals that just need a little bit of that extra helping hand. I've played the golf tournament a few times. I've been involved the last few years, and I've seen growth.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that this most recent golf tournament, we were full.
We filled the golf tournament,
Filled the golf
up,
course.
all the way.
No more golfers were allowed.
Yep.
This is there's 144 golfers, right?
136 golfers.
136 golfers.
No, forgive me. 144 golfers, 36 foursomes.
Yeah. Okay. So 100, right?
Yeah.
144 people out there. That's the most that the golf course can take.
That's all they can hold.
We didn't start that way, right? That first
No,
one
no, we
7
did
years
not.
ago.
Nope.
Was that a struggle to get that first one off the ground?
Yeah, well, of course, a little bit. We had, if I remember right, 92 golfers the first year,
Okay.
which we thought was pretty good.
Sure.
And I think we raised a little more than $20,000. So now we've kind of grown it every year. I remember the pro told us, he said the sweet spot is 92 people. So we kind of held it at that.
Yeah.
And well, we were fortunate to get 92 actually.
Yeah.
And so, but then we just realized that if we're going to grow, we got to grow. And so 144 golfers takes a long time to get around.
Yeah.
But we have a good time. We try to have sponsors on each hole or something to kind of pass the time while you're waiting. And we try to make it a really good time for the golfers that are out there, the people that are supporting us and our sponsors.
And this was, I think, the second or maybe third time that we had that many golfers that we were maxed out.
Yeah, I think it might be the first time.
Might be the first time.
Yeah, I think we were close last year, but we didn't quite make it.
Okay. So this is a great milestone.
Yeah.
And now the bar is reset. So now it's going to
we're
be
resetting the bar.
yeah, it's going to be
That's
full
correct.
every year now. I don't want this to be critical of the Mill Creek Country Club because they're incredible hosts, but remember when the golf cart batteries wore out a couple years ago?
Yeah, I was trying to forget that one, Greg.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's a funny story now because
Yeah.
we can laugh about it, but
Yeah.
boy, what a pain in the butt that was.
We were right in between getting new carts up at the club,
Yeah.
and they had old carts, and they were dying left and right. And man, we had people out there with gaiters, with their clubs in the back.
Yeah.
You're right. We laugh about it now. We can.
We can
It
because
was
we
not that funny
survived it.
at the beginning of it. It was not that funny.
No, it was
in the
not.
middle
I
of it.
mean, there were.
Yeah.
I've got videos of
Yeah.
people pushing golf carts to just get them across the finish line.
The best news was people were good about it. They
Yeah.
understood that we're trying to still do a good thing,
That's
and we had a great time.
the attitude was great.
Yeah.
I think that from a just laugh and fun standpoint, that was probably one of the most fun
Oh,
tournaments.
yeah.
Just because, what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
All right, hop in the cart. I'll push
Yeah,
you for a
we'll
little
get you
while,
there
then
somehow.
you push me.
yeah.
Yeah. Those are great stories.
Yep.
The country club is incredible. Their level of support for what we do, and I know that they're pros, right?
Mhm.
We're not the only golf tournament that comes through there, but I feel like when we're there for our golf tournament day, like we're the only ones that matter. They just take good care of us.
They make us feel that way. They also discount what it costs to do the course because they like what we're doing and how the proceeds are being distributed. So they like that a lot. So they kind of work out a little deal for us every year too.
Yeah, but it just makes you feel like we're the VIP of the day because
Yep.
they just take care of us.
Yep, they're very good.
From incredible food and service and setup and support on the course and it's just cool.
Yeah.
And so now we're already starting to talk about what we're going to do next year. And
Yes, we are.
And it's we'll take a little bit of a slow break and but it's always right here because right now we're in that let's give some money away time.
Now we're going to give the money away. That's right.
And which is the coolest part. I mean, golf tournament day is fun.
Yeah.
Leading up to it is stressful.
Yes, it is.
The day of is stressful,
Yeah.
but for participants, it's just fun. But what we're getting ready to do now, what we've already started doing, this is where the real reward comes from.
Yeah, this is where we'll see the fruits of our labor, I guess you'll say.
Yeah.
And this becomes way more fun than It can be fun raising money, but it's not nearly as much fun as to give it away.
Giving it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just you just see it. You
Yep.
just feel it. The folks, and I think about student athletes that are just gifted, talented, bright,
Mm-hmm.
great futures, but circumstances in their life have just kind of
For whatever
repressed
reason.
them a little bit.
Yeah.
And if we can just give them a little bit of a hand up,
Mhm.
let them grow into that. This is we're taking care of those that are going to take care of us in the future.
Mhm.
And when we want them to be happy and healthy so they can just spread their wings and fly. It's very cool, very cool. Now, a lot of what you've done over the many years. How long have you owned North Creek Roofing?
28 years.
28 years.
Over 28 years, yeah.
Well, then, where did that start? Where'd you hang your shingle? And do you remember where your first roof was?
Yes. Yes to both questions. So we were up on Olympic Meadows. We had a little Rambler, and we framed half of our garage and framed two offices, one for my wife and one for me. And we sat there and we answered the phone sometimes at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. We'd hear the phone ring and we'd run out. We didn't want to miss a phone call.
Yeah.
So that's where we hung out our shingle, and then just began to grow from there. That was 1996.
1996.
Yeah.
Now, you'd been in the roofing business prior to that, though.
20 years.
Yeah. So this wasn't just like, hey, it's something I want to do. You knew what you were doing. You've been doing it for 20 years. You'd been on roofs. Yeah. You've been in the trenches.
And a third generation roofer.
Yeah. So you knew it from the time you were old enough to know anything.
I tended kennel for my stepdad for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say a long time. I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as you were old enough to get into the business, you got into the business.
That's about true.
Yeah. So. 28 years ago. Incredible. Where was your first job? Remember your first job?
Yep. It was in Woodinville. Customer's name was Barbara.
Okay.
And it was a shake roof in Woodinville.
Have you seen quite the evolution away from shake roofs to composites?
Oh my goodness.
Do you do any shake roofs anymore?
Yeah, we still do. Very few. We used to do just, for instance, Mill Creek. That's the only thing they would allow us to put on for a long time.
Right.
So they eventually went to a composition roof. And so that's, we started to do that. But yeah, we've seen shakes really kind of go to just a very small percentage of what we do on an annual basis.
Yeah.
Really.
Are you guys into metal roofing at all?
We are. We just started it here a couple of years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, because all I know is what I hear on radio commercials, right? It's going to last way longer and it's going to be way more expensive.
Well, it is a little more expensive. It will last longer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good roof. It'll shed debris easier. You still need to maintain your metal roof. Keep the debris off of it, but it does shed much simpler.
Yeah.
And you don't really hear the rain like some people might tell you do.
Right. It's not rain on a hot tin roof kind of thing.
It's not rain on a hot tin roof.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Cat on a hot tin roof, whatever that saying is. Interesting. The metal roof thing seems like it is the right thing for all the right reasons because it lasts so long.
I think it depends a little bit on your house.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you put metal on, we can put metal on anything. But I think, the bigger the roof, the more cut up it is, how many slopes they have and everything like that, all just adds to the expense of the roof.
Right.
Because it's much harder to cut in a valley, if you will, than it is with composition.
Sure, because that's easier
more labor
to lay
intense.
in.
Yeah, more labor intense.
Yeah. Thank you. You all did my roof a couple years ago with a very nice architectural composition, roofing material, and love it. It's fantastic. I mentioned to you, and it's been at least, it's probably a golf tournament we talked about it, so it's been at least a few weeks that my neighbor across the street was having, his buddies incorporated do the roof on their house. And so they stripped everything off and threw it all in the yard and just made a huge mess. So you got to get a permit from the HOA and
you need
from the city, right?
And from the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they have to come out. They probably had to put plywood on, I would imagine. And then that has to be inspected by the city.
No, they didn't do plywood. They did OSB.
Okay, well, same. Okay, but it still needs to be inspected by the city.
You did plywood on mine.
Yes.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but you have to get the city inspector has to come out and look at the nailing pattern, make sure it's all good before you can actually cover it up.
Yeah. So I imagine none of that happened.
I would imagine that's true.
Yeah, and that's why it sits there right now in its condition, which is why you use a professional, right? And just a little quick testimonial, right? My house is 2,400 square feet, and it's got one section of steep roof, and it's not the most complicated roof, but it's not the simplest either. You guys were done in like a day and a half or something. By the time, park a dumpster in the driveway and, everything's gone and now everything's sheeted. I think it really was a day and a half to do the whole roof. It was just incredible.
Yeah, well, they've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
The guys that are installers, and they're pretty good at what they do.
Yeah.
And tearing shakes off is really, pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's not easy work, but they roll them off, throw them in the dumpster,
Yeah.
deck it up, and get going.
Yeah. That's why we use somebody like you
Yeah.
to do that. Okay. So 28 years, you just started doing metal roofs a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You also started doing gutters
We did last year.
last year. I just started seeing these North Creek Roofing
Yep.
gutters trucks rolling around town. Tell me about that.
Well, I'd kind of been after gutters for a long time, and the opportunity presented itself last year. It was about May, I think, spring of last year, and so we bought a truck, a fully outfitted truck, and got a couple of guys experienced in gutters, and started doing gutters. And it slow going,
Yeah.
but it got going pretty quick eventually, and so now we keep those guys pretty busy all year round now.
Was it an existing business you bought or just a venture into the business?
We bought the truck from another company
Okay.
that was going to downsize just a little bit,
Okay.
and they wanted to get rid of one of their trucks, so we said, hey, we'll buy it. He had two guys he was going to lay off. We said, don't do that. Send them to us.
We'll take them.
So, and they went to work.
Cool.
Did a great job.
You shared with me that there might have been some resistance to bringing in the gutter business.
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
Was that just we've never done that before? Why
Maybe,
should we do
probably.
it now? Yeah. Well, that's how your business grows. Is you don't take risks, but you kind of take risks, right? You make a calculated decision that this is something we haven't done before, but here's how we can make it fit into our business plan. And that's how you are successful in business.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about that quick, Chamber of Commerce thing. That's become, a focus for us at the Chamber, is to help find those ways to build commerce, right? So our member businesses can take advantage of maybe some educational opportunities or some networking opportunities or some way to learn, some way to find some resources to help some of our smaller businesses grow and develop and nurture and incubate that kind of thing, while at the same time maintaining, everything we're doing in the community. And so when you talk about what you've done in 28 years, that's a prime example for, a recipe for folks to follow. Is we built 2 offices in half of our garage, and we started doing, and then we did this, and we moved into a place, and then we moved into a different place, and we offered a different service and grow that. It's an example. You got to have the right person doing it at the helm.
You have to have the right person. That's
The right 2 people, right?
We've got some good people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'm talking about the founders here, the right 2 people
Yeah,
that
well,
made this thing happen from the get-go.
we have ideas.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
They're not all of them are good, but you have to have good people.
Yes.
And so it doesn't happen just because I have an idea or my wife has an idea. But John Fraser in my office, all things operations at North Creek Roofing, is one of our key guys. And he really makes a lot of the stuff happen when it comes time to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
So,
You have to have the right people in the right seats, recognize their talents, support them. That, I think that is an undervalued trait for leaders, is to really support your people when they come up with ideas, they come up with thoughts, to really nurture that and encourage that. It sometimes can be, for bosses, threatening. Well, I want you to be smarter than me. It worries me just a little.
I have always, since the day I started, not been afraid to hire people smarter than me.
Yeah,
And it is key to growing your business.
indeed.
If you really think you're the smartest guy in your business, you're probably not going to grow as much as you think. Go
Correct.
after the best people that are smarter than you, they know what they're doing, and hire them.
Yeah,
And that's how you grow.
yeah. It in my previous career, in second half of my career. So I was involved in leadership in one level or another. And I always wanted that same thing. I wanted people on my team that worked for me because that's how it was set up.
Yep.
But I wanted them to be bigger, faster, stronger, and smarter than me. I wanted them to be nipping at my heels like you, because that keeps me good and it makes our team successful.
Yep.
Brings us all together so we can be stronger and better. And so apply that to business. It's okay. Your people should be smarter than you.
They should be.
They should, because they're going to take over as you move out, which is kind of what's happening in 2024.
Yeah, that's true.
So you and Sue are the founders, but no longer the owners.
That's correct.
What's going on with that?
Well, as of April 29th, we sold North Creek Roofing, and we're still there, or I'm still there until the end of the year. And then we will, do something different in life.
Yeah.
Not sure what that will be yet,
Right.
but we'll do something different. But
we got at least one more golf tournament in you, though, right?
we absolutely got one more
All
golf
right,
tournament,
good.
no
All right,
question.
Good.
So we sold the company. We now are in a transitioning period where we're transitioning to a new leader and new leadership. And it's been really good. I really enjoyed this transition.
Very cool. So can you tell us who'd you sell to? Who's this company that bought North Creek Roofing?
Vertex Service Partners out of North Carolina.
Okay.
And they're coming in with the concept of the same community effort that we've done, they're going to maintain.
Okay.
So the festival, the summer concert series, the golf tournament, some other things that we do, we support the food bank on a monthly basis. They're going to continue that. So they're going to continue with all the community stuff and maybe even do better.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Transition's been good so far. So you've probably been spending a lot of time bringing the new guy up to speed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Introducing him around.
Yeah. Jim, I've met him a few times.
Yep.
Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
good leader. Military background.
You can see that. You can sense that in him. He's a quiet and humble leader who's paying attention to everything that's going on. And I've not seen him in an office environment or on a job site environment or anything that you may have seen him, but just socially, you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell how somebody carries himself and how they interact with the people around them. So that's very cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I think that the hire was probably as good as you could do, taking into consideration the people that work there now.
Yeah.
And so he's going to do a great job. I have high expectations.
So, of course, the natural question that a lot of people have is, well, Dan, you did my roof 4 years ago, and well, my roof I'm not going to need to do again. It's going to last until we sell our house, so I'm not worried about it. But there are other people who are like, well, is anything changing? Should North Creek Roofing going to be the same business?
As far as the customer, it'll be exactly the same.
Gotcha.
Will there be some different changes in the office? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But as far as our customers go, nothing's going to change. You're still going to get the great service we've always done. Our customer service, I will put up against anyone.
Yeah.
And that will all stay the same.
North Creek Roofing, the name will remain the same. The business will remain the same.
It's going to be North Creek Roofing.
From a consumer standpoint, had we not talked about this and nobody knew you, they would just go, same business as always been.
Yep.
Except maybe some growth.
We are going to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to put a place in Tacoma.
Okay.
So,
I don't know if you can share or if you want to, or why Tacoma?
probably the next biggest area. We are where we at now. We are into Bellevue and Seattle, and so now we want to. You get down there. That's probably the next big circle.
Gotcha.
Area. So we're going to expand in Tacoma probably about first part of next year. Spring.
Okay. Cool.
Spring next year. Have a place down there.
That plan is already in motion. That
It's
there's
in
things
motion right now.
happening to make because springtime's going to be here. I mean, listen, it's raining and cold
I know
right
it
now.
is.
Please let spring come as soon as possible, but it's really going to come quick in big scheme of life.
You're here before you know it.
Yeah, it will be. Cool. I mean, you've created something that you and Sue and everybody who's ever been part of the North Creek team can be proud of. And in that 28 years, the things that you've done for your community, the things that you've done for your family, the things that you've done for your friends and everything, and at the same time built this extremely successful business that some corporation from all the way across the country says, you know what, we want a piece of that.
Yep.
And that wasn't an emotional thing, right? They didn't look and go, oh, Dan sponsors the festival or the concerts. That's a business that's run like it's supposed to be run.
It was emotional on my side.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They didn't have any emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. That's we've talked about the emotion side of that. I can't even imagine. I mean, on one hand, it's like your child who is going off on whatever great adventure they're going off on, equipped with all the tools they need to be equipped with to be as successful as possible. And it brings a tear to your eye because they're leaving and they're moving across the country.
That's right.
At least they moved back to San Diego.
Yes, that's right. They did.
But similar kind of emotion. Like, wow, this has been my baby for a long time.
28 years and 48 years in the roofing business. So at the end of the year, we'll call it good. It'll be 49, almost 49 years in the business when we call it good. And there's some emotions involved in that. I suspect the day for the last time walk out of North Creek Roofing, it'll be an emotional day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's okay.
It is okay because now you have time and energy for other things that owning a business and building a business and maintaining a business doesn't always allow you the time and energy to do those kind of things. And so one door closes and a whole bunch more open up.
Some will open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won't be sitting around in our retirement.
No.
That is for certain.
Yeah, that's for certain. Well, no, there's no way. And I know you don't want to, but even if you wanted to, there's no way Sue's going to let that happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen.
So fixture in the community, philanthropic heart, but a dad and a grandpa too.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your family, who they are and where they are.
Well, Sue and I had one daughter, Jennifer. Married Nathan, who decided he wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Yeah, right.
And so he flies F-16s for a living. He also now flies for FedEx, and then he decided to be a pastor in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
So he's got a lot of hats to wear.
Yeah.
But more than that, they gave us Harper, Lily, and Asher. And they're the light of our lives.
Yes.
They are tremendous kids. And we love getting around them. And it's a whole lot easier to get to San Diego than it is South Carolina.
Yes, indeed. No doubt about it. Yeah. So I think all three of them were at concert series just
a month
or so ago.
About a month or so ago. Yeah. That's right.
Incredible kids. Yeah. Just incredible kids.
Oh, we love them.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Does your daughter ever say, hey, remember me? I'm your daughter here. Yeah, these kids are cute and all, but
we say what?
I was here first.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, I get daddy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your reward.
Yeah.
This is what now you get to enjoy.
We get to fly down to San Diego more often. Get to see them, maybe even fly them up every now and again.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, San Diego's a lot easier in South Carolina.
So much simpler. Go right out to Everett, land, and you're there in 30 minutes.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you're heading down, and it's going to be beautiful and warm in San Diego. While you're there, we'll be here, and we'll collect rain for you, and we'll keep everything battened down so the wind doesn't blow it away.
I've had enough rain.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. That's cool. And now you host, or you created. You're the founder of the golf tournament, right? And you and Kevin and Stan.
I'm one of them. Yeah.
And we had Stan on an episode he was here a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And we talked a little bit about how this all came about. And Stan, Stan's like, well, I've been a golfer ever since, I can remember. So that's why he wanted to be part of the tournament, because he could take his love of the community and his love of golf and bring it all together. You're a really avid golfer, right?
Play golf on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty regular basis. Yeah. What are the tournaments you play in? Do you compete?
Well, I don't compete anything in an amateur basis or professionally or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're members of Mill Creek Country Club, and so they have their men's club events. We compete in those. We go out of town 2 or 3 times a year and compete in golf tournaments. But that's really the extent of it at this point.
Yeah. And you got a really cool golf cart.
I think so.
Really cool golf cart that you keep at your house now. So I want to tell the story about your house. I won't tell all the details of the story, but your house. I was chief of police in Mill Creek.
You were,
and which is means you're supposed to stay in the office and do police chief work. But I had the hardest time staying there. So there was this call of something really bad happened at this house, and there's snow on the ground. And we go to the house, and there's footprints leading out. So, and it's probably even Stan. I can't remember. It might even been Stan with me. And we're like, well, let's climb in the back window and see what kind of bad things have happened inside. And so we go in, and then unfortunately something unfortunate happened, and it wasn't criminal in any way. It was just a sad story. And then a little while later, you bought the house
because it was available.
It was available.
And then we were talking. You told me the story, and I went home and I told Sue what had happened and that you came in through the bedroom window and things like that. And she said, well, the next time he wants to come in, just tell him to knock on the front door and we'll just let him in. So, that's probably the biggest story of our house.
Yeah.
They're unfortunate made it available. And so we bought it.
So I did at one time come and knock on your front door because I was borrowing your golf cart.
Yeah.
And I'm still police chief, right? And golf carts aren't supposed to be driven on the streets of Mill Creek. I mean, technically that's not, but I had to get it from your house to my house.
That's correct.
House, so I fortunately none of the cops caught me because that would have been awkward. Hey, chief, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Golf cart down the street. So. Yeah. Again, just the community, right? We just have fun. We enjoy each other. We like each other. We like each other's families. We support one another. We're here for each other. And little stories like that just become kind of woven into the fabric of.
We went this last Christmas. We 4 or 5 couples took their carts down into Mill Creek for the parade.
Gosh, that was so cool.
We got a police escort down there, and it was funny because front and back, lights going, people pulling over for us.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
it was really a blast.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was such a cool visual.
Yeah,
and then to get all the golf carts in the parade.
Yeah,
we're gonna do that again this year.
I'm sure we will.
All right, we'll make sure that happens because we're already talking about the Santa Claus is coming to Town Center parade. So, December 7th is when that's happening. So
I believe we're gonna have a concert that night too.
Yes, indeed, Cherry.
Yep.
So I sent you a picture the other night.
Yes.
It's as late, maybe we might have had a beer and tequila. But after the Cherry concert, a bunch of the bands went to a house in town and had a little bit of after party. I mean, we could go on and on and on about these examples of how people around here just come together and enjoy life and take care of each other. Work hard, have fun, love one another, and everything else just falls into place.
We have a great community of people and businesses, and it's just a place that, and I said it before, I'll say it again, I'll probably say it again, and that is that we just love our community of Mill Creek.
Yeah.
And the things we do, all of the parades and all that, the things that we do, just a blast.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, you've been a huge part of it. You've been a huge supporter in town, in the area. You've grown an incredible business. You've got everything to be proud of as that torch changes hands and they take it and run with what you've done. Your people are still going to be there, making it all happen like it's supposed to happen. They're going to be happy and healthy and taken care of. So you're leaving your baby in really good hands.
Really good hands,
with
I
really
believe,
good
yeah.
people.
Yep.
Yeah. And now you can play golf and go back and forth to San Diego.
Yeah.
Or go to San Diego, maybe not back quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go there and we'll hang out this winter a little bit.
Yeah. That's awesome. I can't thank you enough for being here.
It's been a pleasure.
It
Thanks
means,
for the invite.
means the world to me. Your friendship means the world to me. You've been a great supporter of mine, and it warms my heart every time, and you make me smile every time I see you. So I appreciate you so very much.
I appreciate the invite. It's been a blast.
Awesome.
So
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
That's the episode. Awesome. Actually, just completely awesome. So thanks, everybody. Love you all. Can't wait to see you again. And have fun in Mill Creek, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.